Hello, and thank you very much for watching my presentation on GCSE music at Saltash. So we follow the OCR syllabus. This is going to be new for next year. We've chosen this because there is a slightly heavier weighting on performing and composing, which we feel our students are strong at, and the set works for listening are a lot more interesting, which I'll talk about throughout the presentation. Each student will study these three different areas, so performing on an instrument or voice, composing, so making up their own music, and listening, where they will do a range of listening tasks, which eventually will end with an exam in year 11. We've got two teachers that teach music here, Miss Arscott and me, Mrs. Venner. I will be the year 10 teacher though for next year. It's 5 hours a fortnight, like most option blocks. Like I say, it will only be myself. We've also got visiting peripatetic teachers, so we encourage students that are taking music at this level to have lessons on an instrument because they get marked on their performing. It needs to be of a really good standard. So we've got guitar, voice, piano, woodwind, so clarinets, flutes, saxophone, brass instruments like trumpets, and percussion as well. And you can apply for these via the music department in the Performing Arts office. You just collect a form. So the OCR GCSE music, I'm looking for people that are interested in becoming better musicians, people that love music, people that are confident and happy to perform in a range of concerts and events. Now, it doesn't have to be people that perform in front of people. I just want people that enjoy performing music, whether that's on their own, so they're happy to perform back to me, or whether it is as a concert, as a band, or in a recording studio, people that enjoy music. They're creative and interested in kind of improving their composition skills, so making up their own music, and just like all different styles and genres of music. So Unit 1 is called the Integrated Portfolio, and within the Integrated Portfolio you get to study one particular instrument. So that could be a voice, as in your voice, or piano, guitar, flute, whatever your instrument is. You study that, you look into that, you look into techniques within that instrument, and you practice and you perform a solo on that instrument. Now the solo could be accompanied, so if you sing you could have a backing track at the same time, or if you're playing the flute you can have an accompanist on the piano. It's completely up to you. And then you do a composition for that particular instrument. So for example, if you're a guitar player, you could compose a piece for a band, so it doesn't have to be a solo piece for the instrument, and that's worth 60 marks. So there's performing and composing in there, and the Integrated Portfolio is all about researching your instrument and the instrument that you play, which is why I think it's really interesting, because it's all about you at the end of the day. Then you've got the practical component, which is component 2. Students will focus on performing as an ensemble in this one. So an ensemble is a group. So that could be a piano player could accompany a singer, and that could be their ensemble because they're in a pair. It could be working as a band, so a singer could perform with a band. Guitarists could obviously perform with their band, but it's as a group. And these skills within that we're looking at, that listening skill, working together as a team, some really good life skills within that. And then they also compose a piece of music to a set brief. This is set by the exam board. So the set brief is, they'll give you a particular occasion that you're composing for. So it could be a festival, it could be you're composing a modern piece of music for the opening of a new art studio or something, but you have a kind of assignment where you compose to that set brief. And again, that's worth 60 marks, and it's 30% of the overall grade. And then at the end of year 11, they will do an hour and a half listening paper, which is worth 40%. Okay, so a listening paper is when they play a piece of music a few times and you have to answer questions about it, a little bit like we do in lesson now. It might ask you what's the tempo, what's the texture, and you've got to answer it. and we study 4 set areas with these. So the concerto 3 times, that's our classical unit. And we look at the Baroque period, the classical unit, the Romantic era, and 20th century music. We'll look at pop music from 1940 all the way to present day. We'll look at film music from around a similar time. And then rhythms of the world. So those students will learn about samba, African music, Indian music, Chinese music. So we'll look at different rhythms from around the world, folk music from England and Ireland and Scotland. Within these study areas, so we'll look at ways of performing them as well as ways of listening to them to help students really understand. But like I say, you do a lot of this in lessons in any case. So possible routes after the course, you can move on to A-level, which we do here. We are also able to offer the Cambridge National in Music Performance. You can go on to study at Music College and do like a level 3 course. You can look at going even further and going to university. Loads of different careers from this, performer, composer, anything to do with music. But equally, music shouldn't just be about moving into the music industry. The skills that music teaches you are fantastic for any sort of employment that you want. It teaches you that group work. It shows it on your CV if you've learned an instrument, how focused you are. The different parts of the brain used when you're playing the piano, for example, are really beneficial to you in all sorts of walks of life. So it's not just about leading into a music career. It's a really good stepping stone onto the next, onto your next part of your education or career. So like I said before, I'm looking for people that are quite confident, and that doesn't mean that I want you to stand up in front of a huge crowd and perform. I mean, of course, that would be fantastic, but it might just be that you like to show about your work in lesson, or you're happy to play in front of a few friends or your teacher. You're creative, you're interested in in the music world, like why people write particular music or particular genre. You're very self-motivated and a team player, and keen to take your instrumental or vocal skills to a really high level, so you want to practice. During the course, we'll do lots of workshops at local venues. We'll work very closely with the Cornwall Music Hub, who organise gigs and events in the local community. There'll be lots of concerts and musicals in school which you can get involved in. We'll probably do some workshops with visiting musicians. You'll learn how to use Mixcraft on the computers in more depth than we've been able to do in lessons. There'll be lots of ways that you can link in with other musicians from other schools as well. And just briefly, the type of things that I'll be looking at for any kind of homework, mostly it'll be practicing on the instrument that you've chosen, any research-based tasks, and a listening diary. We want you to listen to as much music as possible. So quite a fun homework task for you. So that's all the information I have to give on the OCR GCSE. And like I say, it's a really fun course, actually. You learn lots of different genres of music. You carry on from what we've been doing in Year 9, so lots of performing, lots of listening, lots of making up your own music, and all the skills that it teaches you. So group work, listening skills, motivation, commitment are fantastic for wherever you want to go in your life. Thank you very much for listening.